Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the Bumblebee movie Studio Series Thundercracker figure. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to unbox him live in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We're then going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes to help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to see, just for a bit of fun, how well he compares to his original Generation 1 self, even though of course it's a completely different design. But then we can of course see how he looks and displays with some of the other figures using perhaps the same mold and indeed from the same movie. So quickly before we open him up then, let's have a look at the box. It is windowless and it looks like there's no there's just a bit of plastic on the ties there. The figure inside looks great. I love Thundercracker's colours, and this guy doesn't seem to be letting me down either. He looks fantastic in that box. We've got some great images here on the box, of course, of him from the movie. And of course, we already know that it's going to take 29 steps to transform him. One last thing before we cut the box open and get inside, I need to thank Robot Recruits. That's the online UK shop that I purchased this from. And as you can see, they got him out to me nice and safely. So what we're going to do then, we're going to get him out, have a look at this, then we're going to do some first impressions, then we're going to see how he displays in his alternate mode, and then we'll see how he looks and do some display ideas with some other figures from the same film. We've of course got the Cybertron backdrop there, as is very common with all of these figures. There's the instructions, etc. And all I need to do now then is set him free from there and come back and do some first impressions with you. Okay, then we're back, and as you can see, I've set them free from the packaging. And just to let you know as well that there was a bit of an elastic band, but a clear band just holding the wings down as well. I've separated them, and yeah, I've made sure that these are all the way up, and this is just, I suppose, up a little bit as well, just for the first impressions. And I'm not gonna lie, this is stunning. This is an amazing figure. The color scheme just works so well. And I mean, everybody knows my affiliation and love for Generation 1 figures, but I do really appreciate a good movie figure, and this is exactly one of them. But I also know I've got some viewers who just don't even give them the time of the day. And if any of them are still watching, and I know, as I say, some people don't like the movie figures, just have a look at the detail on this figure. Forget about the movie, forget about the characters, just look at the detail that's on this. And it kind of makes you wish that they put this much detail into some of the newer figures as well, like the Legacy, like the Studio Series 86. I mean, we've got a head sculpt there, which is brilliant. We've got a lovely black sort of reflected, there's nothing matte on this at all on that head. It just looks so good. We've got a brilliant face sculpt there with the red eyes. We've got a lovely translucent plastic there. But what I suppose the best thing about this figure and these sort of Studio Series figures is the attention to detail. All on the inside of the forearm there, loads of, like, they look like hydraulics, they look like pistons, they look like things that are going to move around. Articulation on here as well is brilliant. The head will go all the way around, up and down. You can see it's on a ball and socket. Did I knock it off there? No, I didn't. Arms will go all the way around at the shoulder, they'll come out to the side, they'll twist at the bicep below the shoulder, they'll bend at the actual bicep itself. The wrists have a small flexion, but it is mainly for transformation processes. There is a full, even though it doesn't look like it and you would be very surprised, there is a full waist swivel. You might have to lift the thing out of the way, but there is a full swivel there if you want to use it, as well as with the legs going all the way out to the side, all the way back. And again, look at the detail on the inside of that. Brilliant knee flexion and a full ankle tilt and rock, as you would expect. Full articulation. But again, let's just appreciate some of the detail on this, on the top of the thighs, around on the thrusters. The wings look great. You can move these however you want, fold them out, twist them round. There's loads of different ways that you can display this. To be honest, I suppose you can have a bit of a Mexican version from G1 with just the red stripe missing the white bit. It's a visually stunning figure, and I think it looks great even from the back. Look at this, no gaps on the back. This fits in there nice and snug. I can just push that slightly further forward. Decepticon logos there, lots of use of extra bits of white on there. It really does look good. Now, although I've got him but I've not unboxed him yet, this is the head sculpt, I think, of Thrust, and we'll do some comparison in a second with the Starscream figure. But first impressions, just a beautiful looking figure. We've got the two null rays, and we can pop these. I think his go down. I think they do. Let's have a quick look on the back of the box just to confirm this. I can't tell. I know he's got them pointing up. I'm going to point them up anyway because I think they should. Well, we can have a look at that in a second. So I'm just going to attach these, and I'm not going to attach the large gun yet. We'll have a look at that a bit later on. This is the extra gun, which again doubles up and is used in the Tetrajet mode as well. Normal instructions, and again, not much more to say about this figure apart from it is stunning. We are going to come back though and have a look at it now in his alternate mode. Okay, so we're back, and as you can see, he's in his alternate mode already. Quick apologies for no transformation process on this video. It is for a couple of reasons. One is to keep the main length of the video down. Two is not to spoil it for anybody who doesn't want to see it and wants to experience that first one for themselves. But the other thing is, and I've got to be a bit honest with this, I've had a few issues with just a few things falling off. I've also just noticed that I do need to push these in. And as you can see, this is slightly bent anyhow, but this red part during the transformation process came off a couple of times. I usually just get it done in one take, but I had to do it a couple of times. This came off, and indeed these did as well. I found that these came off really easily. However, that's not detracting anything away from it, and in the transformation process video I do state that, just if you're a little worried that yours is doing the same, it's easily rectifiable, and perhaps yours isn't the only one doing it. Right, again, look at the color scheme on this. It just really works. It so does. So now what we can do is we can take this large gun and we can attach this to the bottom like so, and that just completes the look of the Tetrajet there perfectly. And then of course we can take the null rays and we can pop these on the underside of the wings as well, just like this. And I said it in the Starscream review, I think this alternate mode is brilliant. Even though it does remind me quite a bit of a T-16 Skyhopper, it does also look very much, oh, that needs to be pushed in as well, very much like a Cybertronian Tetrajet. Again, unfortunately, and I always say this about the bases, not sure other displays, how many people use this, you can very rarely use these to display in the alternate mode, and this is, of course, no exception. Let's just keep this over here out of the way for a second, and as I said, have a look at how the colour scheme just works. The extra bit of white details on the wings is fantastic. We've already looked at the logo. On the tail, it looks great. It works. It really does work. And as I say, it's very good because it's like something, again, this is probably why I like it. It reminds me of Cyclonus when I was a child, that because it's something that you haven't really seen. I do say it does slightly resemble a T-16 Skyhopper, but not exactly. And because it looks something that looks, in my eyes, completely brand new, that's one of the main reasons why I like it. You'll see in the transformation process it is quite complex as well, so if you do want to see it again, it will be separately uploaded. There's not really much more to say about this alternate mode, again, unfortunately, apart from the fact that it is great. You've got a choice. If you wanted to, you can adjust and move the wings. I suppose you could, let me see, yeah, you could take that out as well, but this is of course mainly for when he's in robot mode, but there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't do it as well in this particular mode. That gives him more like an Earthseeker jet look mode, that way, doesn't he, where you can pull these right out and turn them into proper wings. I've never done this before. I'm literally just doing it right now as we speak, and that's another crazy variation, but who knows, you could do that if you obviously absolutely wanted to. This does sometimes pop open as well, but there you go. Everything is now typically, because I've said that, started to pop its way out, but otherwise great alternate mode. Let's come back for the final time with him in his robot mode then to do some comparisons and see how he displays with his weapons. Okay, then back for the final time with him in his robot mode to have a look at how he displays with his accessories, and of course to do some comparisons. But also as well, that is because I'm going to choose to be displaying this guy definitely in this particular mode. Now, we've had a quick look at the null rays in the first part and how you can attach them, but what you can also do if you wanted to, now granted these don't look that great, but I just wanted to show you that it is in fact another way that you could use these, because of course they've got pretty much a 5mm peg, and unlike your legacy figures which are covered in 5mm holes and ports, you've only really got the fists, and of course you've got the space on the wings there as well. If we put him on the backdrop, again, I say this a lot, unless you're just buying the odd one, these backdrops, although very good and although very robust, they don't really serve any sort of purpose for myself. And to be fair, I don't use them. I just literally put them back in the box and put them back into storage. I'm going to keep it there though, just for now, just because it's got the transformers on the side, and there it's reflecting typically. But I just wanted to show you that because that's a bit of a bonus way that you can use these accessories, and they don't look too bad, to be honest, in his hands. And then I suppose you've got the choice. Let's have a look at both then. Let's have a look at them up, and let's have a look at them down, just so you can choose yourself. I don't think I really like that, to be honest. I've also realized you might be able to, no, they won't, they will go in, but they won't sort of hold in his hands. I was looking like they were handles. Let's take these out, let's pop them down, and do you know what, it looks worse like that. Let's be honest, it really does. Maybe they should go up, and I'm going to keep them like that. And I've just looked at Starscream. We're going to do a comparison with it at the moment. Here's a pointing down. So the final thing is this giant gun, which of course we saw earlier, that attached to the bottom, and it just completed the look of the jet, whereas this is going to look and come right over his forearm, and it looks like a big Gatling gun. And again, it looks great. It really does. And I don't need to say much more about the colour, apart from the fact that it just really works on this figure. So here is Starscream, and you can see what I meant about the fact they've got different head sculpts straight away. And you can see what I also mean. The black on his looks a lot more reflective, a lot more shiny. Maybe it's because brand new, I'm not too sure. And then I say the funny thing is I've got Thrust, but I've not got around to doing a video on him yet. And I got this guy and I just wanted to open him first. So I'll do much more of a better comparison with Thrust when I come around to doing that. And I pointed this out as well. Look at the detail there on the inside of Starscream's forearms. Again, I love the fact, obviously, you got the wings up on one and the wings down on the other. They do look like different jets, which is brilliant. I really like the fact that they've got that. They look distinguishably different compared to, as you say, pretty much all of the cone heads, funnily enough. Not the cone heads, the Seekers from the original toy line. And I'm only going to do this particular quick comparison with him in his G1 cell for that very same reason, that of course it's very different. It's different toy lines completely, and these again are movie based figures. Also, I'm not going to get loads of other movie figures out, but what I am going to do is get other figures out from the same movie in the same toy line, just to give you an idea of what he looks like with them, and indeed I suppose how big he is. So there's the other Voyager, and he's well and truly on par and the same height as him. And I don't think I've got any deluxe Decepticons. I think they are all Voyagers. But there is, of course, little Bumblebee, and he is in fact little Bumblebee compared to all the rest of them. Ironically enough, my core class Shockwave from the movie is just out of reach, but I've got the other core class Shockwave here just to pop in there, give you an idea of just how big he is. Again, I don't think I've got enough superlatives to describe this figure. It's definitely one of my more favorite movie figures, whether or not it's the color scheme or whatever it is. I just think it looks really good. It displays really well. Transformation process, as you'll have seen if you want to in the other video, is quite tricky, but also at the same time satisfactory. Another great figure from the Bumblebee movie toy line. Not sure how many figures are left now, in honesty, unless they start doing, which I don't think they do. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure with Studio Series, it's literally only the figures you've seen in the movie. Obviously, the original movie toy figures, they just did loads of them, even the ones that weren't actual characters, hoping that with these, they just stay true to the movies. And in honesty, he's great. Let me know what you think of him. Take care.